Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Today we are going to review the book, and for today we have selected the book of Dr. Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. This book is a very important book for self-development, and 12 million copies of this book has been sold. And this book has transformed the lives of 10 of thousands of people across the world. This, as we know, that Dr. Viktor Frankl was a professor in neurology and psychology, and he lived life in a concentration camp during the World War II. He was imprisoned by the Nazi Germany, and during the camp life, he went through a lot of sufferings. So the book has two parts. In the first part, we have the autobiographical elements of the writer, which consist of his observations and his different experience during his camp life. And the second part of the book, it is consists of the therapy which he is introduced after when he was released from the camp, and that is called logotherapy. So we will talk about logotherapy as well, but first of all we will just talk about the first part of the book, which consists of the autobiographical elements of the author. So the writer is of the view that in the camp, everybody, those who were imprisoned in the camp, they suffered a lot because there was no food available to them. There was no proper room available to all the prisoners, and there was no hygiene. And people were dying of torture, as well as they were dying of lack of food, as well as poisonous gas. So, the writer, father, mother, his wife, his brother, all of them, they were killed. And those prisoners who were working and they were active, they were allowed to live. And those prisoners who developed some illness and diseases, so they were killed. Now, the first part, the camp life has three parts. One was called shock, and the second is apathy, and the third one is depersonalization. Now, when the prison would be brought to the prison, so after seeing and experiencing the dilapidated condition, the bad condition, so they would go into a shock because they couldn't imagine that situation, that conditions in the camp. So, and the second part is apathy. When the guard in the camp, they used to beat and punish the prisoners inhumanly, insanely. So they got too much punishment and they developed too much pain because of that. So and then a time comes that they become senseless towards the pain, and then the punishment wasn't affecting them anymore. So they develop apathy for that. And the third part of the camp life, that was when they were given freedom, when they were released from the camp. So whenever the prison would be released, so they didn't know what to do with their lives. Then they forgot their purpose in life, and they were not afraid of anybody. They were only afraid of Allah, or God. So that was called depersonalization state. How did the author survive? So the author survived because, as he was a neurologist and a psychologist, so it was a kind of experiment for him. He was looking at the people, and he is of the view that those people, they survived, who have some purpose in their lives, they have some hope in their lives, and they have some vision or purpose in their lives, so they survived. And those people who didn't have any hope or didn't have any goal in their lives, so they developed different diseases and they die early and they couldn't survive. So here the writer want to tell us that it is very important, if you want to survive and if you want to thrive in life and you want to live a full life, so for that we should have a purpose in our life. We should have a meaning in our life. As far as the second part of the book is concerned, that is called logotherapy. So after when the writer when he was released from the camp, so he introduced a new therapy that was called logotherapy. And logotherapy is a meaning-centered psychotherapy in which the focus is on the future. And here the patients, they were giving a hope, and they have to accomplish certain goals in their future. Logotherapy means how to find our purpose in life. So there are three ways of how to find purpose in our life. The first one is work. We should find such a work which we are passionate about. So if we have some passion for some work and we find it and we start doing that activity, so this is how we will develop passion. We will do that in such a way that we will find the purpose of our life. Secondly, loving somebody. Loving human being means that loving selfless love or unconditional love, or having no expectation for any reward. So when the writer means that we should find such people who have less potential, and we should help them to grow to their full potential, or we should help them to get to the state of self-actualization. So this is called true love for humanity and for human beings. The third stage is our attitude towards suffering. How do we, whenever we are facing some sufferings in our life, so what attitude do we develop about that? So that decides our life, that decide our future in life. So the writer is of the view that we should find meaning in our suffering, and this is how we will develop positive attitude, and this is how there will be more chances of our survival, and it will not affect us. So there are some important takeaway from the book. The writer was greatly impressed from German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, and so therefore one of his famous quotation is, "A man who has a why in his life can bear almost any half in their lives." The second one is we cannot avoid suffering, but we can choose how to cope with it. Another important takeaway from the book is it is not important what do we expect from life. It is important that what life expects from us. Another important takeaway from the book is if we cannot change a situation, so we must challenge ourselves. We must challenge ourselves to change. One more important takeaway from the book is life means responsibility and to find a right answer to the problems of our sufferings in life. We should find purpose in our life, and we should find meaning in our life, and we should give meaning to our life. And we can do it in three ways, like walking, loving humanity, and by adopting an attitude or to suffering. So what kind of attitude do we develop to suffering? That decides our destiny in our life in the long run. So this book, it is a great book on and personal development, and a self-help book. And as we know that life, hope sustains life, and therefore we should always have hopes and dreams in our life, and we should have something, some goals in our lives and vision in our life. The writer is of the view that he survived just because when he was living in the camp. So in those days he was thinking about that one day he will be released and he will give lectures on all these sufferings and all these kind of conditions, and he will empower all those people who need his help. So because of that hope, and because of that dream, and because of that vision, the suffering couldn't affect him badly. And because of his knowledge and because of his understanding, he survived. So it also shows us the importance of knowledge in life. Suffering remain no longer suffering when it finds meaning. Thank you so much for listening till the very end. Happy learning. See you inshallah next time with another interesting video.